We are truly lost, we realized we were in trouble. Google Maps had taken us onto a road blocked by construction and a landslide. We had no choice but to turn around. The scary part? Our electric motorbike had only 35% battery remaining, and we still had a long mountain pass to cross. We had no idea whether we'd reach our destination or run out of power halfway. Hi, I'm new. Today, my friend Hang and I are on our way to explore a ghost village in Kinh Hoa, Vietnam. Why would a village be called a ghost village, yet children still grow up there every day? Today, I'm traveling more than 100 kilometers from Dalat to Kinh Hoa to find out. I'm traveling with my friend Hang. She's also a recently graduated psychological counselor. Whenever I feel lost, she's always the one who reminds me to look at things in a more positive light. Here's our plan for today. We'll leave at 5 a.m. on an electric car, pick up some cream cakes, candy, and milks along the way, and then head to the ghost village.
Chắc là đi thẳng.
We went to the grocery store to buy cookies, candy, and milk.
Một oxy. Chị ơi, cái này bán sao vậy chị?
Em ơi, nhiều mà giờ xe nó chưa giao. Không có. Em lấy bánh mì quên lóc đấy.
Our original plan was to buy some snacks for the journey, but the grocery store was almost sold out. There were only a few packs left, so we decided to get some sweetbread instead. It was about the same price, but much more filling, and a better choice for children's.
Hổ về bao nhiêu chị? Chị gọi thầy cũng không biết nữa. Cái này khô chưa?
A box of lollipops costs around $2. 5 pieces of sweetbread cost $1, and 5 cartons of milk cost another $1. We ended up buying 50 pieces of sweetbread, 10 cartons of milk, and 1 box of lollipops. Altogether, everything cost about $25.
5 x 5 25 đúng không? Là
Từ đây chị bớt ra.
cái này. Đây chị đút rồi. Đây hả? Hai bên. Có cái giỏ.
Everything is ready. Let's head straight to the ghost village. We still had another 80 kilometers to go before reaching our destination, and about 80% of the journey would be through winding mountain roads. It wasn't the easiest route, but we were excited. We were on our way to explore a village that locals call the Ghost Village and bring a few small gifts for the children living nearby. As we left the town behind, the scenery became more and more peaceful. Endless green rice fields stretched out on both sides of the road, and the breeze carried the fresh scent of rice plants mixed with the earthy smell of wet soil. At that moment, something changed. All the worries I'd been carrying about work, money, and the future seemed to disappear for a while. There was nothing to do except enjoy the ride and appreciate the quiet beauty of the Vietnamese countryside. In about 10 minutes, we will arrive at the ghost village. The scenery, with mountains on one side and a river on the other, was truly beautiful. I didn't think the mountain pass would be so beautiful. it wasn't as dangerous or scary as I imagined. Sometimes I wish the camera could capture exactly what my eyes are seeing. This place is even more beautiful in person. One day, I'd love to own a better camera so I can share every corner of Vietnam with you and make you feel as though you're right here beside me on this journey. Vietnam is home to hundreds of famous mountain passes. They offer breathtaking views, but they also remind us how powerful nature can be. Do you see those bare mountainsides? Those scars were left behind after landslides caused by days of heavy rain. Just a few days ago, this road was hit by another landslide. Even now, rocks and loose soil are still scattered along the roadside. Looking at these steep slopes, it's easy to imagine how quickly another collapse could happen after a heavy rain. If that happens, this road could be closed, leaving the communities beyond it temporarily isolated. It's a beautiful drive, but during the rainy season, it can also be a very dangerous one. Landslide warning signs appear again and again along this route. During the rainy season, they're a normal part of driving through Vietnam's mountains. We slow down almost the entire way. Around every bend, we never know whether more rocks are waiting ahead. Then another challenge appeared. This time, it wasn't the mountain. Even with Google Maps, we were guided onto a much smaller road. At first, it looked like a shortcut, but the farther we drove, the narrower and quieter it became. No houses, no traffic, just silence. The road ahead was completely blocked by rocks and mud from a recent landslide. There was no way to get through. At that moment, I realized that even Google Maps can't keep up with how quickly nature can change a landscape overnight. So, what do you do when your map can no longer guide you? In Vietnam, you ask the locals. We noticed 2 people standing by the roadside, so we stopped to ask for directions. They patiently explained another route and even warned us that we'd have to turn back and take a much longer road to get around the landslide safely. That's one thing I truly appreciate about Vietnam. Whenever someone needs help, there's usually someone willing to stop, give directions, or lend a hand. Sometimes, the most reliable navigation isn't an app. It's the kindness of the people you meet along the way. But our problems weren't over yet. After turning back, I glanced at the dashboard. Only about 35% battery remained on our electric car. The nearest charging station was back in the city, still a long way from where we were. Suddenly, our trip wasn't just about finding another route anymore. It became a race against the battery. For the rest of the drive, neither of us said much. We just kept our eyes on the road and on the battery percentage, hoping it wouldn't reach 0 before we reached the city. Running out of power in the middle of a mountain road was the last thing we'd want. After nearly an hour of winding through mountain roads, we finally saw another person. It was an ethnic minority couple walking home after a morning of work in the mountains. We stopped to ask if we were finally on the right road to the village we were looking for. They smiled, patiently pointed us in the right direction, and even warned us about the sections that had recently been damaged by landslides, showing us the safest way to continue. Before we left, we gave them 2 sweet pastries and 2 cartons of milk as a small thank you gift. It was already past noon, and we thought they probably hadn't had lunch yet.
Hả?
Con tên Hằng.
Hàng.
Hằng.
À ơi, bà bố thì Lim. Họ là bà bố.
The first person we met was an elderly woman from an ethnic minority community. Her clothes were worn, her hands rough from years of work, but her smile was warm. We asked if we could take her picture.
Giờ bà đi đâu đây?
Mà đi rưỡi về.
À, đi rẫy hả?
She's old, but she still works as a farmhand. We've finally arrived at the village that many locals call the Ghost Village. Just look at this place. Standing here, I began to understand why people gave it that name. It's not only because of the local legends, it's also because so many houses now stand empty and silent. Some families have moved away over the years in search of work or better opportunities, leaving parts of the village almost deserted. The families who remain live very simple lives. Many of their homes are built with modest materials, just enough to provide shelter from the sun and rain. In many mountainous parts of Vietnam, going to school is still a daily challenge. Some children walk for several kilometers every morning, yet their parents continue to do everything they can to keep them in school, hoping they'll have more opportunities in the future. This place is incredibly beautiful. The mountains are peaceful, the air is fresh, and life moves at a slower pace. But nature here can also be harsh. Landslides, long distances, and limited access to services make everyday life much harder than it might seem. The beauty of this village. The local community center kindly let us park here while we handed out the gifts. Oh dear, can you believe it? The bag of pastries blocked half of my camera the whole time. I was so focused on carrying everything that I didn't even notice. Well, that's real life, isn't it? The children gathered at the community house.
Mình còn có ít à.
Anh mình ít thì mình phát nước đi chứ. Rồi, nhỏ đứng trước, cho em nhỏ đứng trước.
Rồi, chị em nhỏ đứng trước đi.
Anh nhỏ đứng trước.
Trời có nguồn linh đẹp với ta.
Rồi chị đó, coi giùm rồi. Đưa chuyện này đi.
Rồi từ từ nha, phát hàng bên này ha, rồi tới hàng bên này. Đây. Đây. Con nha, cảm ơn cô. Học giỏi nha. Đây, con có rồi nè. Đây, của con đây. Đứng yên má chú đây nha, còn kẹo nữa nha, kẹo.
Oh, looking at this baby's radiant smile is so adorable, and it makes me feel a little heartbroken.
Ở bên here là hết tự.
What touched me the most wasn't the gifts we brought. It was the children's genuine smiles. Moments like this remind me that happiness isn't measured only by how much money people have. I truly hope that in the future, villages like this will have better roads, better schools, and more opportunities for the children growing up here. Vietnam has changed tremendously over the years and continues to develop quickly. But in remote mountain communities, progress often takes more time because of the challenging terrain and limited infrastructure. Those contrasts are also part of Vietnam's story, and I hope that one day, every child, no matter where they're born, will have the same opportunities to dream, learn, and build the future they deserve.
Nha, em cảm ơn nhiều.
Nè, nhìn kìa.
Bao nhiêu được? Nhiều rồi. Kìa, từ từ nó tới.
Từ từ nó. Kìa kìa.
This is our most meaningful photo of the day.
Ui. Có luôn hả ở đây? Rồi bà đi đi, bà cứ đi đi.
Having completed a meaningful journey with Hang and me in the ghost village, we quickly moved to Camron City to recharge our car. In Vietnam, if you hear this bell, it means you've been stopped and you must obey. All vehicles must yield to the train. This train station was built by the French in 1933 and is still in operation today. This is the first time I've seen it. Based on our calculations, we can still say the charging station is safe, thankfully. After a long road trip, many Vietnamese people don't stop for coffee first, or even fuel. They stop for durian. The fruit that many foreigners describe as having a terrible smell is actually called the king of fruits here. Today, I'll show you why. Did you know that some Vietnamese people drive hundreds of kilometers just to eat fresh durian during its season? Vietnam is one of Southeast Asia's largest durian producers. Every region grows different varieties with unique flavors. Some are sweeter, others creamier, and some have an incredibly rich aroma. In recent years, Vietnamese durian has become an important export, bringing better incomes to many farmers. Today, I tried Musang King for the first time. Wow, it's much richer than I expected. The flesh is creamy, buttery, and almost melts in your mouth. Now I understand why it's so famous. I decided to buy a few durians for my parents. I don't get to see them very often, so whenever I find something special, I like bringing a little piece of the trip home. Hang also bought some for her family and her daughter. What do you think helps people survive their hardest years? Money or someone willing to sit down and truly listen? Today, I found my answer over a simple $2 bowl of noodles.
Cái đường đều không hả? Cũng được thì không chạy ra.
One thing I love is that most places offer both vegetarian and meat options, so people with different diets can still enjoy a meal together. Heng ordered a vegetarian bowl, while I chose beef noodles. Hang and I haven't known each other for very long. She used to be a YouTuber, and she enjoyed it. And she's one of the few people I feel comfortable opening up to. Hang is a single mother. After graduating, she worked while continuing her education. Raising a child alone has never been easy. Some days, she barely had time to rest. And because she has to take care of her child, she no longer has time to make YouTube videos. I also advised her to dedicate time to her passion. But what I admire most is her optimism. I've never heard her complain about life. She simply focuses on what she can do better today than yesterday. I told Hang that lately I've been overthinking everything. I'm constantly worried about my future, afraid of failing again, and wondering if I'm good enough to start over. She told me to break big problems into small ones. Just finish today's work today. Tomorrow can wait. Don't spend your whole life worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. And if I leave this unresolved for too long, it could eventually lead to depression. Lunch for both of us cost only about $4. Not much money, but the advice I received may stay with me for years.
Chuẩn chuẩn. Chuẩn á. Hương vị là rõ ràng cho mình ngon trời.
We had been driving since 5 a.m. and only just got to eat. After chatting, Heng told me some rumors about the haunted village. They were just rumors, not factual, but they sounded quite creepy. I was sweating while eating and listening to the story, but the spicy noodles were so delicious, I finished a whole big bowl. We definitely overate. Heng knelt down to help relieve that overly full feeling, while I couldn't stop laughing. I like to think laughing burns a little energy too, although I'm not sure that's actually true.
Nhưng mà trong cái máy quay kia vẫn có cả hai thì nhưng mà nó dọc. Ý là cái đó thì chị muốn dọc là dọc mà chị muốn ngang là nó ngang. Thì ấy là đại khái là có một hai cái thôi.
Ahead of us was a journey of more than 100 kilometers back to Dalat. In Vietnam, long road trips like this are very common. It only costs about $10, $20 per person. I didn't just discover a village today. I rediscovered a part of myself. This journey reminded me to slow down, to be grateful, and to appreciate the kindness of strangers, the beauty of nature, and the simple smiles that can brighten even the hardest days. Thank you to the children for their warm smiles. Thank you, Hong, for sharing this adventure with me. And thank you for staying with me until the very end. I'll see you in the next journey. Goodbye.